All right, I am so excited to introduce you to the Career Starter Show. We're here to help students get their dream job and then launch their careers like a rocket ship. I'm going to keep this relatively brief, but we're going to talk about who the show's for, what you can expect, and why we started in the first place. So, who's it for? The show is going to be most valuable to undergrad and grad students in terms of getting your dream job, and people in the first decade of your career when it comes to getting promoted faster, getting paid more, and accelerating your career. Now, let me add a quick thing here. I'm in the investment industry. My day job, at least, is in the investment industry. And so this is a slam dunk. This show is a slam dunk for people who are interested in finance, in the investment industry, in capital markets. I've been successful in the industry. I've been interviewed myself tons of times, and I've done more than 100 interviews. But don't be fooled. A lot of what we're going to talk about here today and on this channel is going to be applicable to all sorts of majors: business majors, science majors, engineering majors, even arts majors. The things that help make you be really good at interviewing for investment banking jobs, for the most part, also make you a really strong interviewer for like engineering jobs as well. And in some ways, it'll give you a bigger advantage because most of the people you're competing with, they just won't be familiar with what I'm talking about. Now, to be fair, when it comes to career acceleration, the specifics of, let's say, a great junior investment banker, they're not the same as the specifics of what makes a great consumer packaged goods junior product manager, for example. But there are definitely characteristics that span the two, and we're gonna have guests from all sorts of careers. We're gonna have people on, and we're gonna explore this with them. All of this is to get you promoted faster, get raises faster, and accelerate your career. Well, at least that's our goal here. Let's talk about the format next. It's going to be, for the most part, an interview style format. There will be some episodes though where I'm sharing something that I've come across, and those will probably be a little shorter than the typical interview style one we do. There are going to be about 6 categories of types of people we interview. First is career services people at various universities, and those are people who counsel students about resumes, about job search skills, about interview skills, that kind of thing. So you can hear the current thinking that students at top universities are hearing. We're also going to be talking to folks who are in charge of recruiting at companies that students are targeting for jobs. In addition, we're going to go and talk to recent grads in those targeted jobs, and we're going to talk to them about their job experience, their job search experience at least, what worked, what didn't. They'll also talk about what they see on the other side of things when they're interviewing candidates themselves. And finally, we're going to talk to them about what they see as some of the keys to career success that they're observing in their roles. In some ways, it'll be a little bit like an informational interview, kind of coffee chat type of thing. We're also going to talk to people who've been really successful in their careers, offering insight into how people early in their careers can really accelerate their development from their point of view looking backwards. We're going to talk to authors and people who are experts in specific areas of self-improvement. We're going to talk about practical ways to really help launch your career, really practical specific tips. We're going to talk to people about their careers, and some of whom have really interesting roles that you might not have heard of. One thing I forgot to mention is we're also going to be doing some episodes where I answer your questions, so make sure to send them in, please. You can put them in the YouTube chat, or you can send them in via email, and you'll see the email below. And that reminds me, please be sure to like and subscribe. The simple reality is, the more subscribers, the more views, the more I can attract guests that can really, really help you out. So, why are we doing this in the first place? Way back when I did my MBA at the University of Notre Dame, go Irish, and I wanted to get into investment banking. It was a well-ranked school, but it wasn't the top-ranked school. And it's in the Midwest, so it was not easy to get to New York for informational interviews. And I didn't really know much about job search. After lots of trial and error along the way, I kind of figured out an effective approach and ended up getting a pretty good job as an investment banking intern at Chase Manhattan, which is now part of JP Morgan. Since starting to unravel how the job search process worked back then, I've also helped family and friends with job search, with interview skills, and with more. Listen, I love my job, my day job. I genuinely get up every morning excited to go to work. During COVID though, I kind of felt like I needed another outlet for my brain besides work. And that was the genesis of starting all of this. The reason I think this is working is that I think there's this huge knowledge gap. Students know they need to get a job after graduating, but for many it's a black box. They put in application after application and they never hear back. Or they do hear back and they struggle succeeding in the interviews. we're here to help with that. We're here to take the guesswork out of it and massively increase the chances that you'll be able to secure your dream job. In addition, we're here to help you really accelerate your career once you do get a job. Pretty universally, there are traits, there are characteristics, and there are people who are out there crushing it at their job. And everyone looks at them and they're like, they have this really bright future. We're gonna dig into what it is, what are those traits and characteristics are that make them so good. Now, this may seem disconnected, but the reason I tied the two together is that while they're separated in time, job search while you're in school, career success while you're in the job, they're actually inextricably linked. Students should be aiming to understand what makes people great in the roles they're targeting, develop those skills and characteristics, and if you do that, you become the obvious candidate to hire. You see how it all kind of fits together? One last thing to be aware of. After each episode, we're going to be adding to a PDF with the top 3 takeaways from each episode. You can get your hands on this by signing up at the link below. I think we're also going to make it available live via Notion. Notion's not sponsoring this, although they really should be. But you should definitely sign up for Notion. It's truly one of the best tech discoveries of the past decade for me. This Notion this Notion page is not available yet, but we'll be kicking it off shortly, so make sure you keep an eye out. That's it for the intro to the Career Starter Show. Please go ahead and subscribe so you can stay in the loop when we drop new episodes, and I really appreciate it because it really does help us out here at the show. So until next time, thanks for being here, and I cannot wait to see you again.
Path with your own vision.